It's a real honor to be here. I've been told that I'm one of the last roadblocks before we can have graduation cake, so I'm going to make this as brief as possible. To the 2013 graduating class of Topeka Collegiate, congratulations. You have finally put middle school behind you. At this time tomorrow, you'll be high schoolers. That's a pretty big milestone. Give yourselves a round of applause. Let's also give a hand to your parents, grandparents, teachers, friends, and family who have helped you along the way and are here to celebrate your success. Before I dive in, I need to be upfront with all of you. To the graduates, I'm 29 years old, which means I'm totally out of touch with your lives. And to the parents, I'm 29 years old, with no kids of my own, which makes me annoyingly presumptuous to opine on anything. So everybody, please bear with me as I try to generationally thread the needle. With that out of the way, I posit the following. Your future begins right now. I aim to provide you with some practical insights that hopefully will make high school and the rest of your lives just a little bit easier. In a few months, you're going to start high school. I don't know how you're feeling, but I was seriously stressed. Excited, most assuredly, but scared out of my mind. And I'm sure some of you have nagging doubts in the backs of your minds. How will I know where my classrooms are? How hard are the classes going to be? Will any of these strange new faces let me eat lunch with them? A change this big in your life can be pretty overwhelming. But let me tell you, that fear of the unknown, it never goes away. But it's a bit like a curtain in a doorway. You may not be able to see through it and see what's on the other side, but it's really easy to push through it. As Mrs. Hoyt said, I started a new job 3 weeks ago, and my girlfriend can attest that on the day before I started, my big concerns were, where's my office going to be? How hard is the work going to be? And will anybody go to lunch with me? But when I met with my boss on Monday morning to talk about my responsibilities, I felt my fears melt away. My skills are a great fit for the new role, the team is really friendly, and I'm proud to say that I have lunch dates scheduled until mid-July. Something similar will probably happen to you really quickly when you start high school. You're going to figure out the best route from social studies to English in like a week, and you'll quickly identify which classes are going to be harder than others. Your time here at Topeka Collegiate has taught you how to study and how to do high-quality work, so don't worry about that. You're also going to have friends. Many will probably be new faces you don't even know exist right now. Some will be old friends and are probably sitting next to you right now. Either way, you're going to stay in touch with them for the rest of your lives. I speak from experience. This weekend, I'm having a sleepover at my Brooklyn apartment with James Frager, a fellow TCS Eagle, from my graduating class. But high school is about way more than classes and friends. I would bet my own money that you're going to learn more about yourself in the groups you join and the activities you pursue than you ever do in the classroom. When I think to my own time in school, I attribute nearly all of my personal development to the 3 extracurriculars I care about the most. Math contests while here at TCS, which taught me how to do math. Debate and forensics at Topeka High, which taught me how to speak. And running the suicide hotline at MIT, which taught me how to listen. When I said earlier that my new skills are a great fit for my new job, these are the attributes I was talking about. The skills I learned and honed when I was 14, just after sitting where you're sitting right now, trained me on how to do my job 15 years later. So while you're in high school, keep your eyes and ears open for new and interesting ways to spend your time. Maybe it's playwriting and stage directing. Maybe it's joining the marching band. Maybe it's founding a volunteerism club. Maybe it's starting a business. Maybe it's competing in the French Olympiad, or the soccer team, ROTC, newspaper, or taking up carpentry and building chairs. If you don't know what you want to do, think for a little while about what gives you butterflies. When I think back to how I felt as a freshman walking into every speech contest, I remember feeling elation for just a second, then abject terror, for just a few more seconds, then curiosity about whether I could succeed. Your butterflies may manifest in a different bundle of feelings, but pay attention to them. As a general rule, anything which makes you feel excited and just a little nervous is probably an area where you want to grow and improve. I encourage you to dedicate yourself to a small number of activities where you can really shine. It's a great way to meet people, and you'll never go wrong by improving your repertoire of skills and experiences. And here's the kicker. Dedication looks awesome on a college resume. You live in an age of hyper-competition with your peers. Especially as you start thinking about colleges, you'll probably see the newspaper articles about that one student who founded a bunch of clubs, traveled to Africa and Haiti to build houses for orphans, wrote academic journal articles, had their 2 unpaid internships, and still managed to be valedictorian. I have 2 thoughts on these newspaper articles. 1, these students are very rare. That's why there are newspaper articles written about them. 2, these stories resonate because those students demonstrated undeniable dedication to the activities they pursued. You need to focus on that second point and figure out how you are going to show dedication, commitment, and growth in something you absolutely love. I tell you this with 11 years of experience reviewing thousands of resumes for MIT and my employers. All else being equal, the person who shows grit and determination, the person who has bled and cried for their cause, the person who has clearly put in long, hard hours, even in those dark days when it wasn't fun at all, that person's getting the callback, the job offer, and the admission spot every time, when compared to somebody who tries to pass themselves off as community-minded because they spent junior year's spring break as a hospital candy striper, or someone who was clearly intelligent but flits from interest to interest without completing anything. There are no cheat codes in life, and hard work shines through like a beacon in the dark that can be seen from miles away. So please, don't ever stop challenging yourself. It reflects better on you if you get a B in an AP class than to get A's in joke classes. And never, ever take credit when somebody else did your work for you. Here's one shortcut though, that I wish I'd realized way earlier than I did. You can always ask for help. Teachers, advisors, and upperclassmen are almost always willing to help if you can get over yourself to ask for it. I probably made my high school and college experiences 3 times as difficult as I needed to because I thought too highly of myself to ask a professor or teaching assistant for after-hours assistance. With that, I come to the final and probably most critical message I want to leave you with today. Develop empathy. Employing empathy simply means putting yourself in someone else's shoes and being able to feel with a person. Improving your empathy in the short term will help you manage your parents. High school is a sensory-rich environment. Your hormones are raging, and you're going to start driving in a few years, which will give you a degree of freedom you've never experienced before. Put all of this together, and you present your parents a series of challenges they've not needed to face in your first 14 years. You know that your parents care deeply about you, and all they want is for you to be safe, healthy, and happy. Don't forget this when you get in your first screaming fight about whether you can go to your friend's house party even though his parents are out of town. When you come home 2 hours after curfew, don't be surprised when your parents are upset. You violated their priority number 1, which is to keep you safe. You may have had a great evening with new friends, but they only see a group of strangers who have kept their precious child out much too late. So before you've gone out with your new friends, and before you've had your screaming fight, figure out how to make your parents' lives easier as well as your own. Think about what are your parents' biggest fears, and how can you describe what you're up to in a way which will minimize those fears. My parents and I got along pretty well when I was in high school, but a lot of my friends weren't so lucky. I think the difference is I focused on how to meet my parents' needs as well as my own. And there may be small concessions, like introducing your friends to your parents, however embarrassing your parents may be, that hopefully preempt tempers from flaring. Parents, I share the following with you. Your sons and daughters are going through massive changes, which make them, under clinical definitions, insane. They're hungry to expand their horizons, and they're relishing in a freedom they've never experienced before. They're going to make decisions that seem irrational to you, but make perfect sense to them. Figure out what you need from them and how to communicate your needs so that you're comfortable giving them the room that they need to grow. Now, there are infinitely more use cases to empathy than just preempting fights with your parents. What I'm about to share is a little Machiavellian of me to even say, but it's the truth. We all walk around as the stars in our own personal movie. That means that to your friends, your teachers, and the lady who makes your sandwiches at Subway, you are nothing more than a supporting character in their personal narrative. Empathy, being able to understand why someone else feels the way they do, allows you to better manage that reality. It allows you to give your best friend a little space when he suddenly won't speak to you and won't tell you why. To realize what it will take to make your girlfriend's birthday party a wild success. Or to have the strength to let a bully's hurtful comments roll off your back, and to give you the character to understand that her words reflect on something going on in her life and have nothing to do with you. I'm a big fan of constant self-improvement. So in closing, I want to share with you 2 little tricks I've picked up along the way to help me combat shyness and improve my self-confidence. 1, people respond better to individuals who appear open and welcoming. You can fake it till you make it with this. If you pinch your thumbs and middle fingers together like this and put them at your sides whenever you're standing around, it means that you won't fidget, and it allows you to stand and be casual looking. The second, when sitting at a table or desk, place both feet flatly on the floor. It improves your posture, and you'd be surprised how much more in control you'll feel. Also, hold your pen and pencil like so when you sit at a desk. It also keeps you from fidgeting, and it keeps your hands above the table line. When your hands are below the table line, it makes you look suspicious to whoever you're talking to. Trust me on this. Thank you again for allowing me to join you in this celebration. I wish you nothing but the best in the many years to follow. YOLO.